welcome to the OCD and Anxiety Treatment Center, Becoming the Expert. Today we're going to talk about body dysmorphic disorder and kind of just wrap things up a little bit. So you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So the final diagnosis we're going to talk about, like you said, is body dysmorphic disorder. And what body dysmorphic disorder is a preoccupation with a perceived flaw. And I think that that's really important. I always identify one thing, right, that you really have to know about it. And with body dysmorphic disorder, it is and focuses on what someone feels like is a huge flaw. But for others, they wouldn't even notice it. It would be very slight if anyone would notice it at all. So for instance, someone might have a preoccupation with, I hate the way my nose looks, or I hate how big my ears are, or I have a skin imperfection. And then that person just feels like, oh my gosh, this is the biggest thing, this is so important, and everybody looks at it. But if you were to ask the general public, they would probably be like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
There is nothing there, you know? And here's where that logic comes in, right? Everyone would say to that person like, no, you're beautiful, or no, that doesn't really make a difference, I can't tell. But that logic doesn't matter. Like we talk about in OC spectrum disorders, logic never wins the day. So instead, that person just becomes very preoccupied or spends a significant amount of time thinking about that perceived flaw. And then, like all OC spectrum disorders, then they want to do something to get rid of that threat that they feel because of that perceived flaw. So there becomes some repetitive behaviors. Can you guys think of things that you might do because you have a perceived flaw?
Maybe try to cover it up.
Perfect. So we would call that camouflaging. So whether that's makeup or wearing a hat or, doing something that tries to hide that flaw. Another thing that people with body dysmorphic disorder might do a lot is mirror check. So they might spend a lot of time in front of the mirror just looking and seeing like, oh, can I make this blemish on my skin better or something like that. So excessive mirror checking is one of the things. It might even get to the point where they have plastic surgery or they spend a lot of money on product trying to make that perceived flaw within their appearance better. So that is part of the compulsive side of this disorder. And of course, this becomes what we call clinical significant, and it starts to disrupt their life. So those type of activities or even mental checks that they do, mental activities, become so important that it disrupts school or it disrupts their concentration or disrupts their relationships, and it becomes to affect all of the things that disrupt all of the things that they really care about.
Right.
So that's a little about body dysmorphic disorder. So we also have a little, we're going to say goodbye and transition, become the expert, to different people within our clinic. So we are going to have some of our therapists start to talk about the knowledge that they have gained with working with some of our clients in the clinic. And so this will be the last time we meet here with Addie and Tay. And so I just want to say this has been super fun for me to be able to talk about the diagnosis that we treat with my daughters and have them become the expert.
Definitely an expert now.
Yes, that was the point. And I think on a final note that I just want you guys to know about anxiety and OC spectrum disorders is I think that a lot of times in the mental health world, people talk about people that struggle with these diagnoses as weak. And what I want you guys to know as you might struggle with these is that what I see is just the opposite. People that struggle with mental health issues, whether it be any of the diagnoses that we've talked about, are anything but weak. These are people that oftentimes have to go to school, and even waking up is a struggle for them, but they do it. And coming into a clinic and seeking treatment is so hard. But I see people face their fears every single day. And I am so grateful to be part of this process and to be an expert in this field, but to also allow and have the opportunity to make other people and my clients the expert in their own diagnoses so that they can live the lives that they want to live. And by facing their fears, that's what they get to do. And they are strong. And I hope that you guys can use what we've talked about and this idea of becoming the expert to be strong too. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds
All
good.
right, and I would encourage all of you to be strong with your mental illness and to seek treatment if that's what you need, or to be able to face your fears. Okay, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.